It's time for us to give a little back to the next generation of riders. With over 200 years of legally riding motorcycles, my 3 riding buddies and myself have learned many lessons. Many of those lessons the hard way. So stay tuned to see if we can save you from learning those same lessons the hard way. In these 200 plus years, we have covered a variety of riding environments: enduro, motocross, trail riding, road racing, drag racing, land speed racing, track days, a myriad of motorcycle safety training courses, and general road riding. We've ridden over 14 different brands: Hondas, Yamahas, Kawasaki's, Suzuki's, Harley, MZ, Bultaco, BMWs, Triumphs, Royal Enfield, Moto Guzzi's, KTM, Indian, and BSA. We have all suffered scrapes, breaks, and bruises along the way, and also seen friends suffering from the serious injuries, paralysis, and death. Here is just a little information from my 3 riding buddies.
I'd have to say riding motorcycles safely is, it kind of requires risk management, in that risk management suggestions would be motorcycle safety courses. Don't get too big of a bike or too fast of a bike right away until you feel like you need it or want it. You can have a lot of fun on a small bike. In fact, I've had probably more fun on small bikes than any bigger bike I've had. There's a couple no-brainers. You don't ride without a helmet. You don't ride without equipment appropriate for your ride. Don't ride when you're uncomfortable, cold, and you don't go to a bar and have a few drinks and try to ride home. The signs that you see on corners, the recommended speed signs, they're pretty good, and I use those a lot. I know that I can usually go maybe 10, 15 over that speed, sometimes double if it's a slow speed. And if you're not familiar with a particular corner, that's good information to help you pick the right speed. Safety stuff on new motorcycles, tech safety equipment is good, but I mean, it can't fix those stupid decisions that you may make, like picking the wrong line or overcooking a corner. If you need more traction and it's not to be had, it won't give it to you. But also, a lot of people, if they're not real experienced or real proficient, won't bank the bike far enough. They won't turn into the corner far enough. There's more traction to be had, but they're afraid to take it, and they wind up running off the road. That, and maybe somebody turning in front of you, is probably the most common motorcycle accidents. Not a lot you can do about somebody turning in front of you, but you need to slow down for intersections and be very alert. So you never let your guard down, and you never become complacent. And then the obvious things, like I said, that's probably the most important.
Thank you, Roy. Appreciate that. We got Mr. Bill here. Go ahead, Mr. Bill.
Hi, I'm Mr. Bill. Very happy to be here today with my riding buddies. We have much experience. I think we have been successful in getting 50 plus years in riding, and I think that's because we are somewhat conservative, yet we are somewhat risk takers. And I guess being a motorcycle rider, you are a risk taker. Every time you get on it, it's a risk. And the main thing is, because the risk is there of having an accident, going down, either through an error that you make or conditions of the road, weather, or an error that someone around you makes, possibility of slapping the pavement is there every time. And it is important that you protect yourself with proper riding gear, boots, at least heavy-duty jeans, but it's really nice to have riding pants, some lightly armored jackets. You know, you can have a winter jacket, you can have a summer jacket, and a good helmet and gloves that will take the rash should you hit the ground and your hands are out there. You need to protect your hands. The skin on your hand is very hard to heal. And so the gear is important. Yeah, there's times where you say, oh, I'm just going down to the corner store to pick up a soda or something, and you know, you just want to hop on your bike and go, and you know, that's probably the one where you get killed. So put the gear on. You know, they say all the gear all the time, and it's true. Take the safety courses. I was a late bloomer in taking the safety courses, and boy, was it an eye-opener for me. I mean, I was probably 40 years into my riding career before I had a safety course. I saw what it did for my sons when they learned to ride. They took the safety courses because it was required here in Idaho for youngsters. But when I took the courses, it was like, oh gosh, I'm so glad I did this, and I want to take more.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Bill.
Well, I've been riding for over 60 years, and motorcycle riding a lot like flying tail dragger airplanes.
Is that
Flying
right?
tail draggers for 40 years, and if you don't think ahead of either one of them as to what they're getting ready to do to you, they'll bite you quick. A good example is just riding somebody else's bike with a mechanical problem and putting you in the hospital for about a month with 18 broken bones.
Was that you, George?
That was me. And just last year when we came back from Hell's Canyon, freaking blind corners. At one corner we're going around was fine going up, and coming back with gravel in the middle of the road. But, fortunately, I saw the rider in front of me drifting a little bit in the gravel, and I was able to swing wide and get in the other lane because I could see it was clear. I remember the days when I was young and real stupid, that passing on a 2-lane road, uphill, over the hill we couldn't see ahead, over a double line. Outrun this friend of mine was riding my old 47 Indian, and had nightmares about that later on. Never did it again, but did survive it. Looking ahead too is just last summer I was going around a detour and the traffic was increased on Highway 55, and I just kind of figured it might be heavy intersection, a lot of traffic. Just I got up near the intersection, a pickup truck with a trailer cut right in front of me, and I didn't have time to touch the brakes. I swerved enough to miss him, but he got the hair up on the back of my neck. So
All right. Well, thank you, George. I guess if I had to give any advice to people that wanted to ride 50 plus years on a motorcycle, would be the first thing you have to do is stay alive long enough to pick up that skills and experience you need. There are a couple of things that will get you killed or injured pretty fast, in my experience. The first one is group rides, especially when you're new. A group ride of 8 or more people that you don't know may result in you getting killed or injured. I've had in my last 4 group rides of 8 or more, 2 of them people have ended up in urgent care. 1 was medevac and 1 was killed. And a lot of that has to do with riding. Some of the people riding impaired with drug or alcohol, and 2, riding at a pace they're not comfortable with. I do have 2 recommendations, I think, that as a rider, if you want to ride a long time, is take as many motorcycle safety courses as you possibly can. I've taken them. I've continued taking them all through my riding career, and I've even become a motorcycle safety instructor. And I've picked up more knowledge and skills doing that than I've done any of the riding I've done. The second thing I would take is to select a bike that that doesn't have too much horsepower, just enough horsepower to get the job done. And once you've mastered that, move up to then you can move up to a higher horsepower bike. If you jump straight onto a really high horsepower bike, the bikes today have a lot of electronic aids that may or may not save you, but it will definitely retard your ability to develop those riding skills. So move up, master one, move up to a little higher horsepower. That would be the thing I would recommend. And a third thing, of course, it goes without saying, and people probably have already mentioned here, is make sure you get the best riding gear you can possibly get. Helmets, boots, jackets, gloves, pants, because somewhere along the line, it may be out of your control. Somebody's going to do something that you just can't avoid. That's my take.